How to edit a video for unbelievable audience retention. I'm talking that 70%, 80% audience retention mark where people are not clicking off the video and they're watching it all the way through to the end. I'm Joe and I'm a YouTube video editor, and if you total up the views of the videos that I've edited in the last year, it's actually over 11 million. Which, if you'd have told me that in January of 2020, I'd have been like, what are you on about? And a big reason why those videos have got so many views is the creators who film them and the audience retention. Audience retention is the amount of time a viewer watches a video from when they click on it to the end of the video. If you have a 10-minute video, someone clicks on the video, watches it to 5 minutes, your audience retention is 50%. YouTube as a platform absolutely love audience retention. That is because it makes them a shed load of money. If someone is clicking on a video and watching your video all the way through to the end, they can serve them the maximum amount of ads and make the maximum amount of money they can from your video. And because YouTube can make so much money from your video if it's getting amazing audience retention, they're going to start pushing it out to more people, putting it on more people's browse pages, showing it in subscription boxes. You might even hit the trending page if you hit it like amazingly well. So let's start getting into some reasons on why people click off a video and what we can do to stop that. And I'm also not sure why I look like a character that hasn't been unlocked yet, but on with the video. Now, straight off the bat, some of these are impossible to stop. Some people are just sad and they'll come to your video, click dislike, and then click off. They didn't even want to watch the video in the first place. Other times, maybe someone's computer will crash or they get a phone call from their mum or something and they have to take it, and then they just have to stop watching your video. Unfortunately, we can't stop these. But 95% of the reasons why people click off, we can stop. Like people getting bored, people not understanding what's happening in the video, or people not getting enough value from the video straight away. So let's start at the start and see what we can do to stop people clicking off right at the start, in the middle, and at the end. The start. The start is the most vital part of a YouTube video, period. If you look at all audience retention graphs, that start is always where most people click off. If you don't nail the start, they're not going to see all the good content that is at the end of your video. So make sure you nail it. Those first 5 to 10 seconds need to be key, need to be really well thought about. I always spend the most amount of time editing the start of a video. Hook your viewers straight away. When thinking about the hook of your video when you're editing it, make sure you take into consideration what the title is and what the thumbnail is. This is the main reason why someone has clicked on your video. So make sure in those first 5 to 10 seconds, you're reaffirming that this is going to be what the video is about, that because they clicked on the title and the thumbnail, they're still going to be interested in the rest of the video. There is so much clickbait on YouTube that if the viewer clicks on the video, sees the title and thumbnail, and then in the first 5 to 10 seconds, they think, this video is just not going to be as good as the title and the thumbnail, they're going to click off straight away. In the videos that I edit, I use 3 main types of hooks. A fast, high energy highlights teaser at the start.
Are you wearing data?
Excuse me.
Guys, get out the road!
Just 5 or 10 seconds of the best moments in the video that people are going to be like, oh my god, I need to watch this video till the end to see what happens. But also make sure you're putting in seeds of little questions. Oh, I want to find out that, so that the viewer has a reason to watch till the end. They haven't felt like they've seen the whole video in that first 10 or 20 seconds. Give them a reason to carry on watching. This can work really well for storytelling videos or videos that make you say, oh my god, what are these guys doing? Like I did at the start of this video, you can just simply tell the viewer what they're going to get from watching this video. How to edit a video for unbelievable audience retention. I'm talking that 70%, 80% audience retention mark where people are not clicking off the video and they're watching it all the way through to the end. Boom. Simple. This can work really well for tutorial videos or a video that someone really wants to get good value out of. And the final type of hook that I use is an eye-catching moment that basically makes you think, what is going on here? It can be really random and sometimes it doesn't even have to be related to the video. Here's a perfect example of that.
Hey.
Now, I'm not saying these are the only 3 definite things that you should ever use on a video to get great audience retention. Some videos are suited to different hooks, but these 3 are a great place to start and make sure you're hooking your viewer straight away. Once you've managed to hook them into your video and they're thinking, yes, I'm interested in this video, you've gained a bit of time. So you can slow the story or the tutorial down a bit, and you don't need to be as high in energy and in your face, things flying all over the screen. You can calm down and tell the viewer about what they're going to get from the video and how it's going to go, so you're both on the same page, because that's a really important part as well. If a viewer doesn't understand what's happening in the video at any point, they're very likely to click off, because they're just like, what is this? I don't understand. Boom, next video that's on YouTube. Now it's time for the main part of the video where you have to deliver on your title and your thumbnail. You basically have to do what you said you were gonna do. Here we're looking to avoid that slow downward graph. Make sure you are fitting in funny sections to lighten the mood a bit. However, make sure this isn't taking away from your story, because otherwise, if there's too many funny bits, too many bits that are away from the storyline, people are going to be like, oh, this isn't really what I clicked on the video for. They're not really showing me what I want to see. Bye. Other great ways to add in little edits are like, text, motion graphics, B-roll. Psychologically, text can actually engage your viewer more than just watching a video, as the viewer is watching more actively, watching and reading at the same time, and it's more difficult to get distracted or bored like this. Make sure you are progressing your story. If you are getting to a part in the video when you're editing it and you're a bit bored, that might be a sign that it needs to be cut, because you've talked about one point too much, and if you were to cut that section out and move straight on to the second point or the second part of the story, then it's a lot quicker for your viewer and they're not having to get bored basically by that other section in the video that really doesn't need to be there. This will help with the pacing of your video. As a viewer watches a video, they don't necessarily know it, but they get used to the pacing and how often you're cutting, how often you're changing scene, how often things are taking. For example, a documentary will have a lot slower pacing, than a blooming Logan Paul vlog. So making sure that your pacing is really consistent and your edits are consistently based throughout the video. It's not like we've started off documentary pacing, boom, Logan Paul pacing, back to documentary. It's not going to feel like a cohesive video, and it will give your viewer a reason to click off, which we don't want them to do. Another great tip that I have is when you're selecting a video, you're going through all of the footage that you've been sent and you're bringing the best bits to the top, the usable bits. I then highlight and change color of the absolute best bits so that they really stand out. And then when you edit the video, you can make sure that there are these good points periodically throughout the video. When you're telling a story or you're revealing something, make sure you're leaving that till the end. So then that gives people a reason to carry on watching till the end, because they know there's something good. Whereas if they don't know there's something good, they might click off because they'll be like, there's nothing else for me here. A great example of this is in my how much money I earn as a freelance video editor. I purposely left my earnings to the end because I knew that's what people were clicking on the video for, and I knew that's why people wanted to watch. So I did a nice little chat about freelancing, how it had been, still around the topic of the video, and people who click on that video are still going to be interested in that, but then the best juicy part I kept till the end of the video so people carry on watching till then. The end of the video is a hard part of the video. No one really clicks on a video to watch the end of it because everything's done and you're kind of just finishing it off. So you often have a lot of people clicking off and leaving. And traditionally, this is where you ask people to like and subscribe, and also tell people, about something maybe that you've got coming up in the future. However, I don't think that's actually the best place to do that. You're saying subscribe and like, one of the most important messages, and any other important messages about the videos next week or what's going on with your channel. You're saying them at the end when everyone's clicking off. Personally, I like most of the time, sometimes I do just put them at the end, but most of the time I do like to try and fit like and subscribe to the video in the middle, or maybe a message halfway in the middle so people are still watching. Like this, smack bang in the middle. Remember to like and subscribe. And I'm going to start doing a new thing on my videos the comment winner. So if you comment down on this video right here, you'll be entered in for a shout out in the next video. And I'll put your comment up like this one, who is the comment winner for this week, and then your little channel will get a shout out every single week. So make sure you get commenting for a chance to win in next week's video. On with the video. And they'll actually watch that part, as opposed to they're clicking off when the video's done and missing your message at the end. When you ask someone to subscribe in the middle of the video, make sure that that is after a really good uplifting part. Maybe if it's a tutorial, you tell them a really good point and then you ask them to subscribe. Or if it's a really funny moment or something that's really good about your channel, ask them to subscribe after then, because then they're in a really good mood, they're really happy, they really like your video at that point. Whereas if it's, you know, a boring part where someone's starting to get a bit bored of the video and then you ask them to subscribe after that, they're not really likely to do that, because the lasting memory they have in your head when thinking about should I subscribe or not is a bad one. So make sure when you ask them to subscribe, they're thinking that your video is good.